So, Miss Jasmine, you are extremely spirited and have an infectious personality, but I feel like you already know this, right? So, you definitely keep the good vibes with you. However, you've also been very transparent online about your life and what I sometimes like to call growing pains. Now, Jazz, we've actually known each other since 2014. We go back to the Valley days, right? So it's fair to say that we have seen each other grow and mature a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I want to talk to you a little bit about how you navigate or how you are navigating through your growing pains, okay? So on Facebook, you talked about extending grace. I did a little lurking, okay? You
Yeah.
talked about extending grace and choosing to love people when they fail us. What has been the most challenging part for you about extending grace, and how do you overcome that?
So, extending grace, I would say, I would think about it like with friends. Like I've went through a lot with my relationships with friends. Like I've over the past few years, I've lost friends. So most of that had to come from like me realizing like where I fell short as well. And so I was like not giving grace to them, also giving grace to myself, because I was like, okay, well, even though I messed up, it's okay. Like I should I should be accountable for my own actions, but also like, think about what was the lesson in that. And so that's why I was like, extend that grace and like, just know that like it's okay. Like you gotta keep going, like keep the relationship. That's not the only relationships you're gonna encounter in life. And if it's meant to be, people will come back to you. So, you just gotta, I don't know, you just gotta grow through that and get through that. So but extending grace is really important because it's like realizing that they're human, you know what I mean? They're gonna make mistakes just like you. So it's like maybe that wasn't their best self that was presented to you in that manner, and vice versa, you too, because we don't always give our best selves all the time. So, just people just gotta learn to understand that. Yeah. So yeah.
Great point.
I'm so sorry. That was a lot.
Oh no, please expound, because that's why I asked you, because I also have experienced the same thing that you have. And it's very, well, for me, it's been easy in the past to write people off, like when they kind of fail me or don't live up to my expectations, basically, because I like to treat people. I like to be treated how I would treat people. And I think that was actually a point that I was going to make for something else, but it aligns with this because I think we all are deserving. Actually, none of us are really deserving of grace because we're all sinners and we are very imperfect. So how can I shun somebody away from grace and expect for me to be giving grace? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And it's a slow process because we're human, like you mentioned. But another thing is setting boundaries with people and ourselves, even to be able to know that when we are getting to that point of, okay, this is becoming too much, I'm very, very much not feeling with the situation. And I know for me, creating boundaries, if I would have known how to create boundaries earlier, I would have been able to communicate effectively prior to having to cut somebody off, or, well, that was the decision I made. Maybe I didn't have to, but, prior to doing that, I could have effectively communicated like, hey, this is bothering me and we should do something about that. Either you gonna stay and work it out, like, but or we not, and we gonna have to move on. And even if the end result is you move on, just like you said in your post, like it's okay to move on and love people from a distance. And so how has creating boundaries in your life impacted you?
I would just say I had to do a lot of soul searching, especially these past couple years after college, where everybody is like, your life is so busy. And now my life is just like work. And so like a big life change, so that came with, like I said, a lot of like negative things too. And so soul searching with that, it was like, I don't know. I had to find out what I liked and what I didn't like. And it really showed itself when I got out of school, because I was like, maybe I really don't like doing that. And I had to like be confident enough to tell people like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is not who I am. Like, it doesn't align with what I'm trying to do or anything. And it was really, really hard, because sometimes like people don't always like, I don't know, they don't always take that as like it's okay for you to grow. They just want you to stay that same person, and you're just like, well, this is not me anymore. Like, people just will never accept that until they grow. But like, yeah, so you just have to like be okay with passing. I don't want to say passing people up, because it's not like, a comparison thing, but it's just, you just have to create those boundaries and like just letting people know like, this is what I'm standing on, and this is me now. You know what I'm saying? Get with it or get lost.
Very
and maybe
much.
Yeah, like, and sometimes like what I had to learn is like, by reading the Bible a lot more, is like, okay, in God's character, he said like everybody's here for a season. You know what I mean? Like, this may be that person's season in your life, and they may, like, instead of looking at it as a negative, look at it like, okay, what did they teach me in this stage about myself, and how can I mature from it? Or, you know what I mean? Just do soul searching and figure out like what makes you happy, what do you like, what do you want to do. And like I said, if anybody who don't agree with it, they just they have to go. I mean, it's like, it's either you or them at that point. And always choose you, for real, because you're the only one, that's gonna get you to make it. So yeah, sorry so much.
You're okay. I agree. I definitely agree. It's like I mentioned, it's something that I'm learning, and that's probably honestly one of the hardest things that I'm learning right now.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's because I offer, really, it just goes back to boundaries, because I basically had no boundaries. Of course there are the obvious boundaries, right? But like emotionally, I didn't have any boundaries with my friends. Like, I had people who were living a life that I don't agree with, and that's their prerogative, right? But it becomes an issue with me when they try to tear me down or make me feel like I'm not doing what they want, or I'm not doing the right thing or whatever. And I think that's where boundaries came in for me, because I had to choose myself first and say, hold on, like, I'm not feeling this. I feel weird. I feel uncomfortable. And I just encourage people to have that conversation sooner than later. You can definitely have it later on in a friendship, relationship, whatever, but I feel like the sooner the better, because the sooner the better, right? And it also helps reduce a lot of stress in a friendship and a relationship when you set those boundaries. So I just, hey, sometimes you got to take a step back and evaluate some things. And go from there. So,
and the thing is, I was going to add this one last nugget. And sometimes it don't even be the other person. It just be you, like you personally, you just don't align with them anymore. And it's like being like learning to be okay with that. Like it's really hard. It's not easy at all, but it's just like we get to that point where you're just like, okay, this is not who I want to be anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes we grow apart, and that's really
Yeah.
what it is. Just like you said, sometimes it's for
Yep.
a season. So
Yep.
sometimes it's hard to let people go, but it happens. It happens for a
Yeah.
reason. I definitely feel like that.
I
Another
definitely.
quote that I have, another quote that I have from you is, well, actually, a quote that I found from you said that you said that change the question from why me to God, what are you preparing me for? That's a really profound statement. And I feel like it takes experience to have gotten to that point.
Yeah.
What were some of the turning points in your life?
Ooh, like I said, over the past 2 years, I've been really doing soul searching, trying to find out myself. And yeah. And so
Mhm.
I guess one big thing for me that I went through was, so I'll be really transparent. So I lost my job this summer. And so I was just like really upset about it and like really beat myself up over it because I felt like a failure. I was like, dang, like this is not who I'm supposed to be right now. I don't want to be on unemployment. Everybody
Yeah.
has pride in that area. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, felt like I let my parents down because I'm like, they paid for school, all these thoughts go through your head. And so in that point in my life, it was just really bad. And like when I was going through that, I lost like a couple friends and stuff. So I was just like, man, like why is all this stuff happening to me?
Yeah.
And then like I just saw myself in a state of mind that I just promised myself I would never get back to, because like I've been like in a dark place before, but it was like never like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just too much. But
Mm-hmm.
this was the time where I literally just took a step back and I just started really getting into the like in the Bible, really started like praying and just asking God, like, please just help me, like show me like what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I need to do that like I don't know that you what am I not seeing that you want me to do? Instead of complaining about where I'm at, because complaining not gonna get you nowhere. So
Nowhere.
like yes. So I just started like praying and like really asking God for stuff and putting my faith to work. Also, like me talking to my mom, like my mom is like somebody who's like really in the church and stuff. So talking to her about stuff really helped. Like she's always like that prayer warrior person. Like I go to ask. So like after like asking her some advice and just doing some prayer, I just started like applying everywhere, and even to jobs I wasn't even like qualified for, and got the job like that I have now, and I'm getting paid way more than I like, what I'm saying, ever made in my life. So I was just like, wow, like ask him like really like what were you preparing me for? The whole time he was preparing me for something greater than like and I remember before I had like lost the job, I was praying to God, asking him like if he can find me something that paid more, gave me benefits, like all these things. And like the job that I have not now checked off all those things. And that's why I was
Mm.
like, he revealed himself like so much to me this summer, although like I went through that sorrow, it brought me somewhere of like another joy like that I have now. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that testimony,
Yeah.
because I mean, that speaks to me on a couple of different levels.